So we are well into Season 6 of the finals right now, and I have used a lot of weapons on every single class in this game, and I feel like that qualifies me to give you guys the best knowledge to use when choosing weapons in the finals on each class. Let me know what you guys think of this tier list. Let's go. Alright, so starting off with the light class, we're going to start off with the ARN, the new weapon that was added in Season 6. I actually think this gun is not bad. I'm going to put it in the B slot. I think this gun needs a little bit of love, but I think it's also at a spot that it is way more accurate than the XP, for example, and if they buff this gun's damage too much, it'll end up being very, very overpowered. So I think it's in kind of a weird spot right now. Very easy recoil to control, it just lacks the damage. Next up, we got the SR-84, or the sniper rifle. I think I'm going to put this in the C tier. Honestly, this weapon is kind of mid. You only really see it pulled out on final round on very specific maps like Kyoto, Skyway Stadium, sometimes on Vegas. I don't see this gun used a ton unless it's, you know, World Tour. Back in Season 3, when we had Terminal Attack, this gun was used a lot. Like I said, kind of a mid-tier weapon. 9.3R, I think we're going to put in the exact same category. Honestly, if you want to use a pistol in the light class, just use the V9S. It's better in almost every category. The buffs that they made recently to the 9.3R a couple of patches ago, I think it was almost a full season ago, they increased the accuracy a little bit in all the areas, and it's actually not bad, but like I said, if you want to use a pistol, use the V9S. It is so much better. Throwing knives, I'm going to put in the D tier. Honestly, I think throwing knives are kind of a niche. They're not the greatest weapon in the game. When you use them, you do have to account for the trajectory because they are projectiles. The one thing that makes a lot of people mad about throwing knives is the fact that you don't have to reload them. You can just throw them forever, and I think that's why some people think they are overpowered, but they're actually not that hard to avoid. You can just strafe and avoid them. It's very, very easy, especially if you're at medium range. They have to get very close to actually get value with these things. The sword, I'm actually going to put in the same category because they actually just nerfed it. If you guys didn't know, they decreased the damage from the sword from 140 to 104, I think it was, so it definitely is not where it used to be, which is nice. I don't like the sword. I don't like melee weapons, so I'm glad that they are gutting the sword. It definitely should not be as good as it is. The dagger, same thing. I'm going to put in the D tier. Melee weapons in general in this game are just kind of niche and bad. They're not very reliable. I know some people, obviously, I have some really good friends that are really good at melee weapons, but they are definitely not the most reliable competitive weapons to use. If you do want to use melee weapons in ranked, you do have to have a very coordinated team that knows your playstyle on melee weapons in order to get value. Running in solo queuing with some of these weapons, maybe aside from the sword pre-nerf, you could get away with it, but not very much so on these other ones. Next up, we got the V9S, and like I said earlier, the V9S is just a better version of the 9.3R. I'm going to put the V9S in the A tier, actually, and this might surprise a lot of you that I put the V9S higher than the ARN, but like I said, the V9S has way better hipfire accuracy, way better damage, and way better range, and the iron sights are actually not that bad on it, so you don't really need to put a red dot or anything like that. If you can master this weapon, you are definitely going to see a lot of success with it. Definitely give this a go. The recurve bow, I'm going to put in the C tier, and I think the recurve bow is actually pretty good, but again, you have to account for the trajectory of each arrow that you're shooting. There's some people that can hit some wild shots, and I know some people that have mastered the bow, but again, I don't think it's the most reliable weapon to use in ranked. Maybe I'm wrong, maybe I'm just bad with it, but in my experience, I definitely do not recommend using this unless you're just trying to have some fun. Next up, we got the LH1. Now, the LH1 was very good. If it was last season, I would put this in the S tier, absolutely, but I think this season, because of the nerf, I'm going to put it in the A tier. The damage nerf that they did to it hurt it quite a bit. It is still a very good long, medium range option for the light class. They didn't touch the accuracy or anything like that, but the damage can be very annoying to deal with and confirm those kills. Definitely still a viable option on light, though. I'm not saying this gun's bad or gutted. Definitely still a good option. The M11, I'm going to put in the same category. They didn't change the M11 in Season 6, but it's still very good. It's a nice alternative to the XP. The XP is obviously better in most ways, but if you're trying to run something and you want to switch it up and have some fun, this gun is very good on Vegas. This gun can be good on Seoul, on Skyway Stadium, any of those maps where the cash outs are very close range. You can use this gun and see a lot of success. The recoil is a little bit hard to understand and get the hang of, but once you do, you can be very, very, very successful with this. The XP, obviously, you guys know where this is going. The XP going straight in the D tier. No, I'm just kidding with you guys. The XP is going straight into the S tier. This gun is very good. It excels at damage. They just buffed it in Season 6. Range and hip fire is not bad on it either. The default ACOG scope on it, I think, is the best sight you can put on it. I don't recommend changing the sight at all. Everything about this gun is perfect straight out of the box. You do not need to know anything. The recoil pattern is very easy. Everything about this is straight on easy mode. definitely if you're playing light and you want to go and take this game competitively and take your skills to the next level and try to push hard in ranked, use the XP. Very, very good. M26, I am going to put M26 in the B tier, actually. I debated putting it in the A tier, but I think the only reason I'm not putting it in the A tier is because the Cerberus is so good right now. I think the M26 does suffer from that because you have to get really close in order to do maximum damage, and obviously if you dash up on a medium, you're going to get deleted by the Cerberus. That's why these things are a little bit better, because you can just stay at range and stay out of the range of that Cerberus if you're trying to fight mediums. But I think if they ever do nerf the Cerberus, the M26 will definitely go up into the A tier, even the S tier. Maybe if they give this gun a little bit of love, it can be very good coupled with the dash. I really like it. It's definitely a gun that I bust out every once in a while when I'm playing World Tour. It can be very fun. Next up, we got the SH1900, or obviously the double barrel. I don't know if this gun is going to go in the C or the D tier. I think I'm going to put it in the C tier, honestly, and I think this gun kind of suffers from the same problem that the melee weapons have. You just have to get so freaking close to people in order to do max damage. You can get right up on a heavy and instantly delete all of their HP, but if you take one step back, you're doing like a fraction of that damage. It is very hard to get maximum value with this gun unless you're absolutely a god tier with your movement and your game sense. But other than that, I think this gun can be very difficult sometimes. That's why I'm going to put it down in the C tier. I think this is one of those guns as well that is in that current state where if they buff it, it would be way too overpowered, but if they nerf it, it would be absolutely unusable. So I think it's in a pretty good spot right now, though. And that's going to be it for the light. What do you guys think of this tier list for the light class? Let me know down in the comments. Let's move over to the medium now. All right, moving over to the medium class now. We're going to start off strong with the AKM. I think the AKM is actually pretty good. I'm going to put it in the A tier, though. I think this gun does lack the damage. I think it has a ton of ammo, obviously, to compensate for it. They did nerf that, so they currently doesn't have as much as it used to. I think the AKM is still really good. Very consistent weapon if you want to have a consistent output of damage. If you're facing a lot of mesh shields, this gun can be good. You can just absolutely shred and get rid of them, but definitely not the best option in the medium. There are some better options if you're trying to maximize your damage. Next up, we got the Riot Shield. Now, obviously, I think the Riot Shield is not the greatest. I'm going to put it in the D tier. Riot, man, I'm sorry if you're watching this video, but I have to put this down here because it is a melee weapon. It just automatically makes it a niche. It is not really the greatest, and you have to get very close. Obviously, the shield part of the Riot Shield allows it to be a little bit more forgiving than something that doesn't have that added protection, but I'm still have to put it down in the D tier. I'm not going to lie. It's not the greatest. Like I said, there are people that are cracked with it, and I respect people like that. But for me, definitely this is down here. The Pike, now honestly, when the Pike was first released and it was really busted, I really hated it. I really didn't like when that was the meta in this game. So, but I think the Pike is still kind of decent. I am going to put it in the B tier. I don't think it's as good as the AK anymore. I think that they definitely nerfed this thing down a lot more than maybe it should have been. Maybe they should have kept it where it was. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I think the game is definitely not in a healthy state when this gun is meta. I'm not going to lie. Next up, we got the new gun here, the CB01 Repeater. Now, I really like this gun. I think I'm going to put this in the A tier or the S tier. I don't know. I think I might put it in the S tier, but you do have to be hitting your shots. I think I'm going to keep it in the A tier, actually, now I'm thinking about it, because if you're not hitting your shots, this gun is definitely not an S tier weapon. Your headshot multiplier is very good on this gun. You can 2-tap lights. You can like 3-tap mediums, I think, if you're hitting headshots. This gun is very good. I really recommend picking this thing up. It's a little bit easier to use than the revolver, which is actually a gun that we got up next. It's very easy to use compared to a revolver. I don't know what it is, but when I'm using this gun, I hit way more shots than I do when I'm using the revolver. Speaking of the revolver, this is what we got next. I'm going to put this in the decent slot. Honestly, like I said, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's just me. This is just something that I feel, but I think the revolver is just worse than the repeater. They're basically the same gun, but I don't know what it is for me, man. This thing just, it hits differently. That's all I'm going to say about that. I have no claims to back that up, but I'm going to keep that in there. The model, now, you guys know if this was a season 4 or 5 tier list, this thing would be up here. Absolutely, without a doubt. I wouldn't even have to explain why I'm putting it up here. But with these nerfs that they've done to it, I'm going to put it down in the D tier. This gun just doesn't hit the same anymore, man. The range is still not bad on it, but the damage just isn't fucking there. It takes a lot more shots to kill lights, I think, and heavies. It's just not where it used to be, which is good. Like I said, I feel the way about the model the same way I kind of felt about the Pike. The game was definitely not healthy when the model was meta, so I'm glad that it's in the state it is right now. The Cerberus, S tier on medium. Easily the Cerberus is one of the best right right now on the medium class. The fire effect on the shotguns, this gun is absolutely amazing against lights. You can absolutely shred them. I'm pretty sure you can one-shot lights with the burn damage if you hit all your shots. You obviously have to be really, really close to them, but easily two-shotting them if you're not hitting all your shots, super, super easy. You can chunk heavies down pretty easily and force them to retreat. This gun is very good, especially with the DMAT. It is very useful. The dual blades, you guys know right where this is going. I'm going to put this right in the D tier. And again, I'm not trying to be biased towards melee weapons, guys. I really don't think that the melee weapons are that viable in this game. The dual blades have a unique property to them where you can block and they can do damage back. So I think that is kind of cool. So it kind of has the same properties as the riot shield. You are able to kind of block yourself, and that's why I think it is a little bit better off than running some of the other melee weapons, but I still think they are not that good, so we are going to put them in the D tier. The FCAR, I'm actually going to put in the S tier. I think the FCAR is very good. This gun is definitely a good alternative to the Cerberus if you're not a shotgun close range person. I think the FCAR can be very good. Damage is one of the best in the game when it comes to rifles against lights. You can kill lights very quickly with this thing. Very, very easy recoil pattern. It is kind of short in the ammo department, so you got to make sure you're hitting your shots with this thing. The reload isn't that bad either. Very solid all-around gun. Easy to pick up and learn. The FAMAS, I'm actually going to put in S tier as well. If you want to play a little bit more passively with this gun, you can do so and hit a lot of shots. I'm just thinking in my head on maps like Vegas when you have the cash outs that are on top of the roofs and people have to run at you and there's kind of nowhere for them to hide. This gun can absolutely chunk people down, even on maps like Kyoto as well. You can hit headshots with this thing and absolutely shreds heavies. Very, very good. I definitely recommend picking up any of these three guns if you're trying to get better at the medium class. And that's going to be it for the medium class. We don't have anything in the C tier, which is a little bit interesting. Let me know what you guys think of this tier list as well for the medium. And now we're on to the final one here for heavy. Let's get it. Real quick, as I was editing this video, I did notice that I forgot to include the CL40. I would actually put the CL40 in the C tier for the medium class. It is not that good. It used to be very good back in the day, but they have since balanced it out. So it does cause a lot of chaos, but definitely not the kill confirming machine that it used to be. Before I get started, I just wanted to thank you guys so much for the support recently on the channel. I've been trying to branch out some other games sometimes when I don't have a lot of ideas on the finals, and you guys have been showing me a lot of support on that. Thank you so much. You guys are awesome. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Now let's get into the Shack 50. I'm going to put the Shack 50 in the S tier. We're going to start off strong. I think the Shack 50 is very, very good. It's kind of like an SMG for the heavy class. It shoots 2 bullets at once on each side of the gun, and it can be very useful. Hit all those shots close range. You will absolutely shred a lot of people. I think this is definitely a gun worth picking up. The recoil is negligible. There's absolutely no recoil on this gun, so it is very easy to control. It basically just bobs back and forth. It goes up a tiny bit, but literally anybody in the world could control it. Super, super easy. M60, I'm going to have to put over in the A tier. I think the M60 is actually pretty good. They did buff the damage to it. They did buff a lot. It is a lot more in line with the Lewis gun now. The only thing I would say that is holding the M60 back is the recoil. It does have about double the bullets that the Lewis gun has, so that's what it has going for it, and it also has way better hip fire accuracy. So I think this gun does excel in those areas, but if you're trying to shoot at any medium distances, it can be very, very difficult. In buildings and when you're fighting groups of people, it can be very, very good, especially in close range. Lewis gun, I think, is still S tier. I think the Lewis gun outclasses the M60 just because the recoil is that much easier to use, and the fact that the iron sights are way better on the Lewis gun. I still think it is better than the M60. I'm not saying that you shouldn't use the M60, but I do think most heavies are running the Lewis gun, and I think for good reason. Next up, the minigun, the brand new gun for the heavy class in Season 6. The minigun actually is pretty good, although I am going to put it in the C tier. As for a competitive option, it's not exactly the most viable option. It is a fun meme option, a fun meme strategies you can do in World Tour. I've seen a lot of pro players do good with this gun in ranked, but honestly, those people are just nuts and they can make any weapon look busted. But I do not think that this gun is good for the average player. It does have a wind-up time, so it is kind of hard to use. You kind of have to use this gun and bait your teammates out, because you winning one-on-one gunfights with this thing is not exactly easy outside of 10 meters because the hip fire is very, very poor. Next up, we got the SA-12. The age-old SA-12 is still S tier in my opinion. Even after the nerf that they did to it, you're seeing it less and less, I will say, but it is still very good. One of the best shotgun options you can use on the heavy class. Probably one of the best shotguns in the game, honestly. You can do a lot of damage to multiple groups of people. Very good coupled with the mesh shield age-old staple on the heavy class. Very, very good here. Moving over to the other shotgun, the KS-23. I think the KS-23 is really good. I am going to put it in the B tier, though. It is kind of a little bit of a niche, but it's still very good if you know how to use it properly. It's actually a projectile weapon because it shoots a slug, so it does a ton of damage. It does take very few shots to open walls and stuff with this thing, which can actually be pretty good if you're in a coordinated environment. This gun is very good with winch claw as well because you can pull the people very close to you and basically guarantee a first shot that lands that'll do a ton of damage right away. Next up, we got the Akimbos or the Deagles. I am going to put these in the C tier as well. I think the Akimbos used to be very, very good when they came out, but the accuracy on them just doesn't hit the same. I don't know about you guys, but I feel that these guns are very inconsistent at range, and they are just outclassed by the Shaq, even the Lewis, even the M60. They are outclassed by at range. They are not very useful. They're okay in close range, but if you're running close range, you may as well just run the SA-12. These guns seem kind of lost right now. I'm not sure where they would fit into the meta, but I'm going to put them in C tier for now. Next up, we got the MGL here. Now, the MGL is kind of a niche, I think. I was going to put it in D tier or C tier, but I think I'm going to put it in the D tier. I'm not going to lie. The only person I know that is good at the MGL is Truce. The guy is absolutely insane with this gun, and he makes it look busted as shit too. But for the average player playing ranked, this gun is definitely not it. The bouncing feature of the grenades can be very good sometimes, but very hard to get consistent damage with unless you're just an absolute wizard with physics and angles. Definitely not the best gun to pick up if you're going to play competitively. Fun to play in World Tour, but Truce makes this gun look very good. But unfortunately, I'm going to put in the D tier. I'm sorry, Truce. Sledgehammer, I think, is an A tier melee weapon. Sledgehammer is probably the best melee weapon in the game. It does the most burst damage instantly. The combos on it are very, very good. It can one-shot walls. You can break anything in the game with one hit. Very, very good. Definitely, if you're going to run melee weapon on heavy, the sledge is definitely the way to go. Spear, I'm going to put in the D tier, unfortunately. The spear compared to the sledgehammer is just night and day. The spear is absolutely worse in almost every category. The range on the spear is better, but honestly, at that point, you may as well just run winch claw and pull them closer to you and use the sledgehammer instead. The spear is okay in modes like power shift, for example, when everybody's grouped up in one area, you can just get a ton of damage with the right click. But honestly, outside of that specific scenario, spear is not that good. That's why I'm leaving it in the D tier. Flamethrower, I think I'm going to put flamethrower in the C tier. It's one of those close range options where you can still run it and do a decent amount of damage if you have the right gadgets to combo with it. I know Pyromine is very good with flamethrower. You can just light everything on fire. It actually isn't that bad if you're running mesh shield as well. I know that there's a lot of combos, but again, if you want consistent damage, you may as well just run the SA-12 or the Shaq if you're running that close range. But definitely do not sleep on the flamethrower. It can be very, very good. And guys, that's going to be it for our tier list. Let me know what you guys think of all three of these tier lists down in the description. Thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you guys check out my Twitch and subscribe down below. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed. I appreciate all you guys. Peace out.